All right, welcome to Stride University. We're going to call this a university class. It's going to be a little bit of a deep dive into um, some specifics in purchasing and uh, making it life easier for you to manage your inventory via, setting up different purchase units of measure or setting up, increment like quantities that you're gonna purchase in. So in this specific example, I've got two products here, and one product is fabric. Typically, fabric is sold in yards or incremental yards, and then a quarter of a yard or an eighth of a yard, and oftentimes it's purchased on in bolts, and those bolts come in roughly 15-yard increments. Now, in this scenario, we're going to assume that even though you purchase these in 15-yard increments in bolts, the supplier that you're buying from still charges you by the yard. They just say, look, you've got to buy these 15 yards at a time. So if you want, 35 yards, too bad. You've either got to go 30 or 45, something like that. They have that quantity that you purchase, and it has to be in specific quantities, but they still only bill you by the yard. The other example is this thread, and maybe this thread you sell by the individual unit, but the supplier that you buy from charges you for a pack of 10 of these. So we're going to go ahead and say like, hey, we buy these in a 10 pack, but we sell them individually. So each of these has a different setup, and you can do it in a different and you're going to do it in a different way. And I want to kind of go through and show you the grand scheme of how this looks once you've set these rules up, and you go to and maybe even set up like an automatic purchase rule so that they just get automatically added to a PO when they hit a certain threshold. So I'm going to start off by just kind of hopping into this, and so I've got this this product. The sales price is $12. The unit of measure, I sell it in yards, and I purchase it in yards. But maybe when I come into here, I have to. This is my reordering rule. So if you're following along for the first time and you haven't learned about reordering rules, up here I have my min and max. If you haven't set one of these for a product, it will just it'll just say 0 right here, or like 0 reordering. In my case, I already have a reordering rule set up. So in here, if we hop into here, we can look at this and say, okay, I have a reordering rule set up. My preferred reordering rule is to buy. You can also manufacture. So if you have manufacturing capabilities in your company, or maybe this is a kit that you want to create a rule for, yeah, you could actually say, I want it to create a manufacturing order when I get to a certain threshold. In this case, we buy it, and our vendor is Checker. And I'm saying, hey, if I get below 10 yards, I want to trigger this rule to go into effect, and I want my max quantity to be 30 yards on hand. The 15 yards is the amount that I have that it has to be purchased in increments. So I can't buy 7 yards or 8 yards. It's got to be a minimum of 15. So for example, in this one, if I got down to 8 yards, this would trigger. So maybe I made a sell and I got down below 10, and all of a sudden I have 8 yards left. This rule would automatically trigger, and it would so I have it set to be an auto trigger. It's not a manual trigger, and I'm going to turn that off real quick. And so I'm going to pull. I've got that, and it's going to say, oh, I need 22 yards. Well, I can't buy 22 yards, so the max I want is 30. So I've got to buy at least 30 yards here. So essentially, this is gonna default to the multiple quantity that's closest to the max quantity that you want. So I'm going to order 30 And I'll have, when I'm done, I'll have 38 yards on hand. Now, I'm going to contrast this to this other product that we have on hand here. And if I go into my ordering rule, I'm going to say the minimum that I want on hand is 5, and the maximum is 20. But there's no to order quantity. There's no multiple quantity here, so I don't have a multiple that needs to be met. But I instead on this one, I have a purchase unit of measure, and my purchase unit of measure is a 10-pack. So with this 10-pack, it means I'm going to buy a package of this, and it's going to have 10 units. And I'll in a separate video I'll go into how to set these up. But I just kind of want to show you how this works on your purchase orders, so that you understand what's going on. So here I'm going to go to my forecasted, and I'm actually going to delete this PO here, so that I can get my the PO to actually to work for us. So I'm just going to cancel this real quick, and actually I'm going to delete it all the way out. So now if I go back to this reordering rule, you'll see here I have order once, and it's going to go through and it will actually order this product. So I'm going to go ahead and push that so that you can see how this will look differently on the purchase order. I'm going to hit order once on that, and then I'm going to go back to my other product, this thread, and I'm going to order this once. Now, if you have this set up automatically, our schedule will run once a day, and you can go and learn more about replenishment rules and all of how that works. But I'm just manually doing it so that I can show you what this looks like in the system. So now I'm going to go back to our purchase orders, and this will have created an RFQ. You can see, yep, there it is. I just created that today. Now, you will see here, I bought, my purchase order is for a quantity of 30 yards at $6 a yard. So that brings the total to $180 to bring in 30 yards of this fabric. Now we know that's probably going to come on 2 bolts of 15 yards, but the manufacturer, the vendor that's selling us, is still going to bill us in yard increments. So they're going to bill us for 30 yards. In essence, what we want to do is we want to create our purchasing to match how the vendor is going to bill us. So in this case, we are ordering 20 of these of this cotton thread, but I'm ordering 2 10-packs because the vendor is going to sell them to me in packages of 10. So they're at $79.80 each. So that looks correct. And then we can confirm this order. And then what's going to happen, and this is the kind of the interesting thing, it's going to create a receipt, like that's normal and all of that. So we can go ahead and you can click on the receipt here to receive the products, or you can click on this button here, however you want to, is fine. But once we come into here, now you'll see in my receipt, I don't have a 20-pack. I don't have 2 10-packs I'm receiving. I'm receiving 20 of these units. And that's important because this is where the breakdown happens. Because we say that we sell it in units, but we purchase it in packages. So at this point, this is where we are breaking that down and going through and creating those differences. So if we remember right, on our PO, and on this product itself, if we look at this product, it's going to take us there, and we purchase it, we sell it in yard, and we purchase it in yards. So on the PO, we're buying it in yards. This product, the thread, we sell it in individual units, but we purchase it in 10-packs. So on this PO here, we bought 30 yards and we bought 2 10-packs. But when we go to receive it, this is when the system is going to do its calculation and say, okay, I know a 10-pack. And again, I will show you how to, in a separate video, how to create these different units of measure and what that what those do and how to configure them so that you get them correct. So we've come in here. We know that that's how we receive it, and now I can say, yeah, I received 30 yards, and I received 20 units. I want to break this out and count it, or I know that I have 2 full 10 packs. I'm just going to go ahead and say, yep, that's what I received, and I'm just going to validate that. And now when we go look at both of these products, if we were to go actually look at it, now I have 30 on hand, 30 forecasted, and this cost here, it's going to be the calculated accounting cost, because it's going to be based on FIFO. It's going to say, well, I bought 30 yards, it cost me $180, so it was $6 per yard. And then if we go look at this product here, this cotton thread, again, it was $7.98 we spent per each, and that's how it broke out. So the system does the calculation to say, well, I bought 2 10 packs at $79.80 for each 10 pack, and now I've broke that out. I've received 20 of them, so it costs $7.98 a unit, and it's going to do that math for you. And as always, when you create a PO, if it automatically creates it and the prices change from what you have in the system, you can always change those prices on the PO, and it will update the accounting as you go. So again, the system is based on FIFO. So if you bought 2 20 packs a year ago and it was $7.98 a unit, but this year they've upped it to $80, the system's gonna remember that in the accounting end of things. So this is a little bit longer of a video, but I really wanted to be able to explain to you and show exactly how this works and the different things that you can do with Stride to help you more easily manage your inventory. So when you come in and when you look at these, you say, oh yeah, I buy these items in packages, and my vendor bills me in packages, but I sell them by the actual individual unit. Or my vendor says I have to always buy a minimum of I have to buy this in 15-yard increments or 10 unit increments. Like, they won't sell me 17. It's either 10, 20, 30, or 40, or however that is. You can set those rules up in the system, and you don't have to remember when you go to create your purchase order what how those purchases are made. It's going to automatically do that for you. So that's a long explanation, kind of a longer video, but I really want people to understand, and our users to understand, the power of Stride and how it can and how they can make it work for them, instead of always having to remember and keep track of things on a spreadsheet. You can put this into the system and use it to make your life a little bit easier. So thanks for watching on this introduction, and hopefully you found this helpful. As always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to our support team at support@strideretail.com. Thanks.